This is by far the cheapest and easiest Royal Titans guide setup I have seen, because every time I see a video about Royal Titans, they want you to bring a 4-way switch for melee and range and mage, and you don't need to do any of that. You don't need to be max combat. It's a good mid-level boss. The main lore of these things is you can build a Twin Flame Staff. They have the 4 mil drops separately, and then together, if you build the Twin Flame Staff, it's about 9 mil. This is also where you can get the pages for like the Searing pages and all that stuff, so you can charge the Tome of Fire, the Tome of Earth, and stuff like that. So it's a really good boss. They have mid-level drops, like, you know, they have like 50, 60k drops here and there, a couple 100k here and there, yada, yada, yada. But overall, they have decent drops. So the easiest setup I've seen. You know, everyone's like, well, it's recommended that you have full Masori and you have an Elijah. No, well, not Elijah, but you don't need max gear. You don't need max stats. You don't need max anything. This is the setup I'm going to show you that you can use to kill them. Look at how bad this stuff is. The most expensive thing I'm using is a zombie axe, which is 1.6 mil, which is fairly easy to scrounge up money for that. You might even do a little bit more budget and go with a dragon skim. But just for this instance, I'm using a zombie axe because, again, it's 1.6 mil. If you can start it, actually, you know what? We're going to go even cheaper. We're going to go with the dragon scimitar. We're not even going to use a zombie axe. We're going to use a dragon skim. That's what we're going to do. Look at how cheap this setup is. Full Void, Brimstone, Dragon Skim. How much do we even risk here? That is not what I wanted to collect. How much even is this? Not even a mil. Not even a mil. So, let's go. Easiest way to get there. There are 2 ways to get there, which if you've never killed them before, if your house is in Remington, you can teleport to Remington, and you are going to go right down here to the Asgardian Ice Dungeon. If you have been there before and you have the Giant Soul Amulet, you can teleport right there. But for the instance, we're going to run over to the dungeon, and I will see you when I get there. Now, upon coming down into here, there is a 60 agility shortcut. You can go right to there because their excuse me, their lair is right here. As you can see, there's a teleport, but no, if not, you just go up, make a left, and you will be there. I will say this may not be the most effective method, and, you know, you might not even get a kill with it, but I don't have the best stats. 75, 78, 75, 80, and 81. My stats are not that good, but I'm telling you, these bosses are much easier than you might think. Now, technically, they have 1200 health because they both have 600. They each have their own health bar, and you have to balance it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you just step by step. I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you exactly what to do, and I'm going to show it to you in real time rather than being one of the people that just says, there's this mechanic, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you get a kill, all right. And then they go pull out max gear and 3-shot the boss, and they're like, that's the kill, we're good to go. No. I'm doing a guide that you don't even have to be, like, you can be 70s like me and barely 80s, and you can do this. So, without further ado, let's hop right in. So what you're going to do, you're going to want to pray mage, or not mage, melee. Pray melee the entire time. This is my inventory setup. Very, very simple. You have a simple switch to do, and that's literally going to be it. You're going to have a little mage switch here, and then you're also going to have a range switch just to get some extra DPS whenever they're not near you. So, as you see, they walked away. We're going to switch to range. We're going to start ranging. Now you'll see these firewalls and these icicles coming up here. You can use your magic attacks to get rid of them. And as you've seen by that one, they actually get rid of themselves. They'll say, I'm coming for you, so then you switch to your melee. Very simple. Just going to DDS spec just to get a little bit of deeps here. Melee is going to be your biggest friend because they are very weak to melee, surprisingly, so... And I'm even doing good damage with a Dragon Skim and a DDS. Like, this is actually kind of crazy right now. Whenever they go away, you're going to switch to range. And now they spawn minions. You need to kill the fire with water and the ice with fire. Kind of common sense there, but it's very simple. And as you've seen, all I did was I literally just switched to Mystic and one-shot them. So, super simple mechanic there. And that is literally the entire phase 1. You're going to sit here, you're just going to keep hitting them with basic stuff. As long as you're praying melee, this attack they're doing right here will not hurt you. So what I like to do, I like to wait until they're about 300 health, and then I switch to the other one. As you can see, it has 600, they both have 600. Now, this is all of phase 1. So I am just going to ride out phase 1, and you literally just repeat what I do. It's rinse and repeat. You clear these fire waves and ice waves, and then you just do damage to them. You range whenever they're not near you. You melee whenever they are near you, and it's very, very simple. I mean, that's literally the entirety of its mechanics. These will not hurt you unless you are standing under them whenever they come up out of the ground, which is very easy to avoid, obviously. So, wow, I splashed. These things are very weak to mage. I also did not bring a mage pot with me just because they are so weak. You obviously can bring a mage pot, you know, you can bring a forgotten brew, whatever you like to do, but typically you don't have a problem splashing. Like, it is also a kind of like a Chinchompa mechanic, you know, whenever you hit one of them, it'll splash within a 2-tile radius. So I'll show you that real quick. If you hit the middle, it hits both of them as well. So that's just kind of how that works. Very easy to remember, very easy to do. You kill all of them. You want to wait until they're bunched up, or if they're on their way, you aim for the middle one. Again, very simple mechanics. Now, I'll explain a little bit of the gear here. Obviously, the full void is just the easiest for the range. That way, you know, you can switch. The Unholy Book is a hybrid book. It gives you stats in all of the, you know, all of the basic things. It gives you, like, all the melee, mage, range, and everything, so you don't have to worry about swapping, like, defenders, stuff like that. Just to make it even easier than it already is. Because having hybrid is going to be your best friend here if you plan on doing this for a while. So the book, that's the idea behind the Unholy Book. It gives +8 to everything. The Ava's Accumulator, I'm camping it just because it's the Amethyst Broad Bolts. You could, you know, do a little bit more. You could bring a cape swap, like whenever you're doing melee. You could bring a fire cape, stuff like that. Anything that gives you like a little bit of bonus if you wanted to. But again, as you can see, it is very much not necessary. This is all you need to do. So now, once you start getting down to the lower HPs here, whoops, misclicked that one. Once you get down to the lower HPs, they are going to teleport to the sides of the arena here. So I will wait till they do that real quick. And I'm just camping on Chivalry right now. I don't even have Piety or anything, so that just kind of goes to show you how easy it is too, because you could prayer swap, you know, you could swap to range prayer, this and that, but again, it is very much not necessary, just because of the fact that it is very easy to kill these bosses. Oh, I didn't even kill those ones. Wow, that's my mistake right there. So, now that my pots wore off, I'm gonna repot up real quick here. If you're using, you obviously don't need to use divines either. You can just use regulars. I brought divines just because, you know, I got tired of them running out on me whenever I didn't want them to. Now, as you can see, I'm using a decent amount of prayer pots and everything here because I'm camping Chivalry. Again, you don't need to do that. You can preserve your prayer. You can bring an unholy, or not an unholy book. You can bring the holy blessing to get a little bit more prayer, but I have my broad bolts, so I couldn't do that. You could technically bring a swap if you wanted to, but again, it is a very simplistic boss to learn and to master. So, all right, we're about to be entering phase 2 here. I'm gonna swap to that. So I messed up my top swap there. Go. So usually about 200 HP. I believe it matters on like both of their health whenever they swap, but usually once one hits 200 HP, that's whenever they're gonna swap. You're gonna see this thing on the ground. You're gonna want to walk onto it. You will do 3 slams, and that is that whole mechanic. They're still gonna spawn their minions here, which nothing has changed. You use fire to ice and water to fire. As you can see, I get hit at 23 through prayer. It hurts. You get hit by that mechanic. It will hurt you. It is not it's not one to be taken lightly, so worst comes to worst, you want to make sure you're on top of this and then deal with the minions afterwards, because that will hurt you a lot more. That's probably the most KO potential this boss honestly has. If you get hit by those, you have a good chance of dying if you get hit by all 3. The rest of it is kind of a joke, honestly. But, as you can see, I'm not dying to the melee, so now, explaining the if you don't kill them very close to each other whenever you're getting ready to end the fight, they both still have their separate health no matter what. If you kill one of them, the other one gains better, like more powers, if that makes sense. So let's say I'm gonna show you here at the end whenever it gets a little more intense. They still have the same mechanics, but they just get tougher. So this thing that I'm on top of right now, the safe spot, once you actually kill one and not the other one, it will always spawn the furthest away. So it spawns in the middle now. Let's say I kill this one first, which again, I'm going to show you here in a second. It's always going to spawn away farthest from the one that's not dead. So instead of confusing you more, I'm just going to kill them and show you real quick. Let's kill the ice one first. Oh, that one didn't die. Rip. You can see even with the void on, I could still one-shot it, so I didn't need to switch to Mystic there. If you have a Void Mage Helm as well, that would be obviously a lot better switch. You could literally just switch Mage and Melee helmets. Alright, so now that that one's dead, I'm going to give this one the chance to show the mechanics. Right there's the first one. You can see that I got hit through prayer, even though that's normally the safety. And then it always spawns farthest tile away from this one. And other than that, that's pretty much all that's it. The longer you take to kill them, obviously, it will not be good because of the fact that they will do more damage to you. It does guaranteed damage without ability. And if you get hit by this on this phase, you're going to regret it because it'll hit you for 30s, and I believe it can hit you for 40s as well. But that is the entire fight. Now, the loot mechanic is also different because if you loot the Fire Queen or you loot the Ice King, you can get different drops, which they're pretty much the same drops. You can make the Twin Flame Staff, which you have to have the ice portion and the fire portion. You have to loot whichever boss you want to, like, find it on. You have to loot him for the fire portion, or you have to loot her for the fire portion and him for the ice portion. That's kind of the interesting mechanic of it. I don't exactly know the drop rate. I can look it up and put it on the screen here, but this boss is also where you get the dissected pages, or however you pronounce it. You can charge the Tome of Fire and all those tomes with those pages with 50 rune crafting. You can make those pages into it. So if you can actually get the Twin Flame Staff and everything and stuff like that, this is actually a good boss for Iron Men because it has, like, it's got decent drops. It's got, mid-level drops like plate legs, herbs, coins, ruin, stuff like that. As you can see, I got 3 Prayer Potion 4s, which is honestly not too shabby if, like, you're, like I said, you're an Iron Man or something. That's pretty much all you need to get a kill, so it gave you the whole kill pretty much. And then 25k coins. So that's pretty much it. I did this in the cheapest gear I actually could imagine. I didn't even have a Berserker Ring or a Fury or a Zombie Axe. Like, I don't even have very good gear myself. This is all the gear I have. Normally, I'd bring my Arams, Dragon Crossbow, Fury, Defender, Zombie Axe, I don't even have great gear myself. I'm very poor at this game. I'm still a noob at this game. Like, I'm trying here, but that's it. I mean, like I said, it wasn't even a 900k risk. I have full Void. Again, if you have a Void Mage Helm, you could do that. A Void Mage Helm, you could do that. I literally just camped an Unholy Book, a Void Ranger Helm, Ava's Accumulator, and what was I kill? That was an 8-minute kill. My very first kill was 11 minutes. It was terrible, but an 8-minute kill for really noob gear. I did take a little bit of damage there from my Divine Potions and getting hit by that one mechanic a little bit. If you avoid those mechanics and you have regular potions, that they're not going to damage you, you can use very little supplies and get away with making decent money on these bosses. Because if you think you only use 3 prayer pots that I just got, that's 33k. Technically, I just got 58k from that kill because I got the 3 prayer pots, so if it gave me those 3. So, and then if we look up the Twin Flame Staff, if you're not an Iron Man, if I could type, Twin Flame Staff is currently going for 8.9 mil. That's a nice chunk of change for killing a boss that you can have less than 1 mil gear to actually get. So, hope this guide helps. And again, you get the Giant Soul Amulet, you can teleport right there. All you need to do to charge this, I don't believe I have any big bones left. I do not. You get 1 big bone and 1 law rune, gives you 1 charge, teleports. That's literally it. I mean, I charged it with 43 because I had big bones laying in my bank, so I have 43 teleports to the boss. Easy peasy. You don't gotta waste run energy. You don't gotta waste anything. You just gotta keep that. And it even gets bonuses. Like, if you're not, like if you don't have stuff, like you could easily wear a glory or something like that. Oh wait, no, I'm mistaken. My bad. It does not give bonuses. Do not. I read all of that as that was wrong. Does not give bonuses, but it does teleport you there. These other two, they are kind of free to play bosses. They're the giants that are in the Varrock sewer. But whenever you go to Rub, obviously you want to go to Brandon and Eldrick as the boss teleports. I was using Fire Wave, Water Wave. You can use lower spells, like you could probably use Fire Blast and Water Blast as well. They're only level 50 spells, super easy to get. I got level 60 on my alt account, literally just splashing within like a few days, just splashing on seagulls. So mage training, super easy to do. And again, even if you didn't want to bring range, like if your range is terrible and you have good melee stats, you can even do that. You don't even need to range them, but you'll just have to wait until they're actually within melee distance, which they come in melee distance pretty often. Usually some, like, they'll alternate most of the time, so this one will go melee, this one will go melee, so they're always usually in melee distance. You could hop back and forth, but I just like to do it to where you get 1 to 300, focus on it, get the other one to 300, focus on it, and then kind of move back and forth between them until they're both about dead. That way you can get them finished off super easy, super quick. Hope this guide helped. I hope you enjoyed my little my noob stats here, but very easy noob boss to kill. Excuse me, I'm running out of words here. Hope this guide helped. Hope you enjoyed. If it did, like, subscribe, follow, and I will see you in the next one.